The sun is setting. The dog finally stopped barking. Life is good. But inside, there's trouble brewing, and Emma has no idea. Although she feels fine, like her father, Emma is one of the 67 million adults in the U.S. with high blood pressure or hypertension. Just like her radiator that's on the fritz, Emma's heart is working overtime to get the job done. Let's have a look. The heart is the pump in our bodies, delivering blood to the entire system through a set of pipes, or blood vessels of all sizes. Smoking, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, physical inactivity, family history, and increased age all contribute to these blood vessels, or our pipes, becoming less elastic. The more blood our heart has to pump through stiff, narrowing arteries, the higher our blood pressure. When the force of the blood against our artery walls is too high, life-threatening health problems can result. Problems like kidney disease, heart disease, stroke, even heart attack. Can Emma get her pressure down before it's too late?
Wow. Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Laurie Davis here, coming to you from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and so pleased and excited to have a guest today, my guest, Yvette Evans, all the way on the other side of the country and south. So we are miles apart right now, but we just found out that the number 7 is significant in our lives. Welcome to the show, Yvette.
Thank you. Hello, Dr. Laurie. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. And I also see you have a little bit of a handle, Coach E.
Coach
Where,
E.
can you tell us how you got that name?
No, I've been coaching for over 12 years now, and my last name is Evans. So I said, what's a little catchy phrase I can use to call myself? And Coach E just resonated.
That's great. That's great. Wonderful. So today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about how you went from corporate America to your own business. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to talk about what kind of work that you're passionate about, what you do for women. So why don't we start with your book?
Love to. This book, Rediscover Your Purpose, real stories, real strategies, real struggles. It's about a journey through a process to really discover who you are. And I wrote it last year. On my birthday, it was published September 27th. There's that 7.
Oh.
And it became such a special accomplishment for me. And it really helps women walk through the journey from purposeful pain to a powerful promise. And I've used it to do book studies with women. I have one coming up, in fact, in March, to really walk women through the chapters and the journey towards finding and rediscovering their purpose.
Wow. That sounds like fun. What a great idea.
I'm
Can
excited.
you hold that up? Can you hold the book up a little higher than your head so we can see the, oh, wow. Right. Look at that. I wasn't sure what the pink was. Perfect.
Those are my favorite colors, black, pink, and white.
Oh, nice. I can tell your chair's pink, your sign's pink. Yeah,
Yes.
right. So let's go back in time a little bit and just tell us a little bit about your professional past and some of the experiences or struggles that you had there or not. And so we'll have a little idea of your background.
Yes. So, my story is quite interesting. I come from a family of six. My mom was a single mother who did a phenomenal job. Shout out to Yvonne Edwards, who's 92 years young,
Oh,
and really became the role model for me in managing stress, being able to navigate difficulties in life, and really showed me that you can do what you want to do if you really try hard. And so I grew up in a very in an area where we didn't have a whole lot, um, but we certainly did not want for anything, which is different from today's world. And so, as I navigated through high school, I got this opportunity to go on an internship in my 12th grade year in the federal government. And I landed in the Human Resources Office as my internship and fell in love with HR. And from there, my journey just continued. Even while I was in college, I would come and work on breaks, summertime, really navigating and understanding how to manage people, how to deal with people, and aligning with my degree, which is in psychology. From there, my career just progressed. I think I was blessed. I know I was just blessed to be with good people who saw something in me and invested in me. So I began to navigate through my career in human resources, landing in the supervision area, becoming a supervisor, and then eventually becoming a HR director and human
wow.
resources executive before I retired in January of 2022. Um, that journey was not easy. It may sound like it was just, everything fell in place, but it came with a lot of struggles, especially as a woman and a woman of color, which is part of the reason, Dr. Laurie, why I invest so much in women today and helping them to navigate those waters.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Uh,
you.
been a faithful servant, I would say.
Yes.
So then when you retired, what did you decide then? Because, retirement for me, I've always, this is a little harsh, but when people say, oh, I can't wait to retire, and I go, no, it's a death wish. You better have something else planned to occupy your time or you're going to be in trouble. Like I
Yeah.
haven't had a job in 40 years. I've been self-employed for 40 years. And I
Wow.
can't even, I retired from teaching school in 1984 and I have never looked back. I spent 15 years in the system and
Mm,
then retired and I've been doing my own thing ever since. And
yes.
yeah. So then was the next move for Yvette. What came next? 2022.
I'll go back before 2022, probably maybe 10 years, or maybe about 8 years before that, I received this wonderful opportunity through my job to fund me attending and being trained as a coach. And I took that training and I fell in love with it. And I knew it was something I did regularly for my subordinate employees, but I never really honed in on the structured aspect of it and tapping into really the transformation that coaching can do for someone. And in that training, I had so many aha moments. And I left that training saying, this is what I want to do. I love coaching. I love helping people realize kind of what they are internally able to do for themselves with just a little help or a little push. And so I was doing that before I retired, but kind of low key, Dr. Laurie, and just here and there and trying to meet my certification requirements. And so as I started thinking about retirement, probably just a year before I retired, because we were in the throes of COVID and everyone was very comfortable, right? We didn't have to go in the office and you were like, why retire? But then I got to the point where it's like, this is not fulfilling anymore. The job that is after 40 plus years in human resources. I said, I think I've really made my major contributions. And so I thought about, what am I going to do when I retire? And so coaching was just like the next thing that was at the top of my thought around what I would do in retirement. I wanted it to be something that I enjoyed, that I was passionate about, and did not feel like a 9 to 5. Sure, you can resonate with that. And so coaching just evolved, and I received contracts right away to do coaching for federal employees, federal leaders. So I was able to use both my federal HR leadership experience and my coaching to merge in my retirement. And so I started my own business in October of 2022, and I've been doing it and loving it ever since.
Wow. Well, that was like a perfect segue, really, to what you're doing.
Yes.
And I had a similar experience. I'd been a teacher, but being a teacher is different than being a coach, and being a coach is different than being a facilitator. And but in essence, what we're doing is helping others see the best version of themselves. So, what excites you the most about your work? And I think we did have a little brief talk about empowering women. So let's talk about why we feel it's important to empower women of all ages.
Of all ages. There is no limit to when you can walk in your purpose. Let's just say it that way. I encourage women that as long as you have breath in your body, you have an opportunity to embrace your purpose and leave a legacy. And that's what life is all about. What will remain after you're gone? And that's what I link purpose to. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I get to help women shape their journey using the framework of my book and my coaching business to tell their story and embrace their struggles. And I use strategies to help them bring clarity and confidence to their purpose. And that's what really excites me, getting them to that level of achievement where they are now aligned, not just doing something because, it's what I get paid to do or someone else wants me to do it, but bringing that alignment to their lives so that they really can feel that what they contribute in life is making a difference.
Would you be open to sharing maybe a little thumbnail strategy, one of the strategies that you use to support women to find their purpose? Somebody asked me one day, what's your purpose? And I said, well, I've always lived my purpose. I'm here to make a difference. That's my purpose. And we're all here to make a difference, whether it's smiling to a homeless person on the street, volunteering for something. I don't know. It's just always been a part of who I've been. So I believe I've always been on purpose, but a lot of people are confused about what that is actually. And so Do you have a little strategy you'd like to share with our audience today? Just one little thing that you do to support.
Well, my coaching framework, and all of this is on my website, so it's
Mhm.
no secret here. I actually enjoy having women understand the framework because it helps them to journey with more clarity. And so I build around 4 pillars. The first one is self-awareness. And this is where we spend time in coaching sessions, helping them to identify their patterns. What are their triggers? And what's that limiting voice that they keep hearing in their ear? Those self-doubting voices that come in. We call them in the psychology world saboteurs, that speak to us and tell us we can't do it. We are only as good as our past mistakes. And so we spend time unveiling that in our sessions, because I believe if you can't face your fears if you don't know what they are. And then we move to self-affirmation. And this is the stage in coaching where we work to build on their strengths, identifying what are you good at? What are your values? What are your gifts? And how do you align with them? Making sure you understand that you are valuable, regardless of those limiting beliefs. Those mistakes you made in the past don't define who you are today, and they certainly don't have to define who you are in the future. So we walk through that self-affirmation and get those strengths identified, because we got to build the woman back up. And then we move to self-advocacy. And this is where we really roll up our sleeves, Dr. Laurie, and start doing action planning. Because clarity without strategy leads to nowhere. So we focus on, what are you going to work towards? What aligns with your strengths? Because if we align you with your strengths, you are more likely to be successful because you're doing what you're good at.
Mhm.
You're aligned with what is your God-given gifts. And so when God gives you gifts, he gives you the ability to be successful in those areas. So we get an action plan together that builds around their strengths, that are actionable, that are small steps. We don't try to, build Rome in a day. And then lastly, we do self-actualization. And this is where we actually implement the action plan steps. We take it to the next level of putting our mouth, when we say put our feet where our mouth is, let's do the walk, not just the talking. And then there's some accountability in that phase as well. So you come back and we look at what's working, what's not working, where do we need to pivot, and where do we need to make some changes. Women come out of these 4 phases more successful, more confident, and one of the key things they leave with is strategy in how to be successful.
Beautiful. I relate to all of that, resonate with all of that. Absolutely. And what's interesting, and this is very interesting, and you and I are going to have some chats, I can tell, when you use the word phase, those 4 pillars, those four phases. My very first product that I created, we call it my Core Empowerment Workshop Series.
Yeah.
There are 4 phases.
Really?
Yes. four 10-hour modules. Like, it's just amazing, the connection here. I love it.
Yes.
I could relate to all of that, and so many of us need that. And I love to see someone else's perspective on growth and development. I took my own path, but I'm always open to hearing what other people are doing. And if it works, hey, that's the best in the world, isn't it?
Well,
Those
it's not an overnight
No,
journey, right?
no.
It takes time, and you have to be willing to put in the work.
Exactly.
People want miracles, but they don't want to put in any work.
I know.
And I think that's important for women to know, is that you have the ability, you can be successful and not aligned in purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we have that contradiction in our lives, where we don't feel happy, we don't feel fulfilled, we don't feel valued, and we look externally to find that value, when really it's an internal thing.
Absolutely. Because when we don't feel valuable, that's a lack of self-worth. We do go outside of ourselves to try and fill that hole. And I was one of those people. I could look terrific on the outside, but I felt like crap on the inside.
Yes.
And I was successful, and I've had, a couple of successful journeys, but it didn't line up with me without me recognizing what my gifts were.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I read one time that God gave us gifts because that's what we're supposed to use to make a living. So if you have someone who's very musically talented, learning to play the guitar, and you're a natural and whatever, that's how you're supposed to go earn your living, and not a hobby.
Yeah.
Right.
But the
And I
key
had
is really building on those gifts, right?
right.
We could be gifted, but not have structure and not have skills.
Yes, a
And
plan.
so you got and plan. So you got to build. It's like, I know how to play the organ or the piano, but I still need to learn the keys.
Right.
My sons are both very gifted musically.
Oh, nice.
They were my youngest son was in this program, and they said, you have to be able to read music. Well, he was so gifted, he didn't have to learn to read music, but because of this new level that he wanted to get to, it required him to learn to read music.
Wow.
So your gift and your structure, your gift and your strategy makes you more successful.
Right. That's a great connection. I hadn't really thought of it that way. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that I look back. Yeah. Right. Well, when I was little, my grandmother used to take me everywhere. She would take me to funerals, baby showers, in the community, small rural community. And I would only go if they were going to be serving refreshments. I asked her one time, she told me the story. She said, when you were 5, you said, well, Grammy, are they going to be serving refreshments? And she didn't know where I got that word. And if they were serving refreshments, I'd go. But the reason she took me was that I could go into a room and people would connect. I could light people up. And that was a gift. That's a gift.
It is.
And I didn't realize that that gift would eventually turn into my career and now my business after all these years, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So can you share, without naming any names or anything, can you think of a client who has, she would be one of your success stories, and kind of do a little, where was she when she met you? You obviously did your workshops with her, or your coaching, and then what's happening with her now? Do you have any one of those stories you might want to share?
I actually have a video out on my YouTube channel where a client of mine was willing to give a testimony around this very subject. So she's no secret to the world.
Okay.
But I still won't use her name, but she
No.
came to me at a time in her career, very confident woman externally, but she came in feeling like she was stuck in a job that did not offer promotional opportunities. She was already supervising and leading a group of employees, but she felt stagnated, that she was at a plateau and had more within her to offer. And so we spent time first going through, those phases, what's holding you back? Why have you stayed at this job this long? because sometimes we stay too long
Mhm.
for various reasons. I like my boss, I like what I do, but there is um, no promotion opportunities. And then we understand at some point the reason I feel uncomfortable is because I have more to give than this job is willing to accept. And so we started looking at her skill sets. What else are you good at? How can you use those experiences in a transferable way? Your career journey doesn't have to go in the same path. There are so many transferable skills that can align with other occupations, other career aspirations. And so we outlined the plan for her. And I spend time with my clients who really want to move in the career arena. I spend time helping them to develop their resume, helping them pull out those high points, right? Those result focused achievements that get buried in I did this and I did that in the duty statement. So we spent time refining her resume to really help her see you got it going on. You have really done some great things, right? And so when they see that, they're like, wow, I have done a lot. And then we spent time with her building her confidence in the interview strategy because she's very confident but introverted. And so those two combinations can sometimes make you come across as not being confident.
Right.
So
Right.
we spent time honing in on her um, interview skills, her confidence, her posture, how to answer these types of responses. She got interviews, um, landed a job, and you'll hear in the video of her testimony. And I said, and she ended up doubling her salary. She said, "No, Coach E, I tripled my salary."
Oh, wow.
And she is still there. She was able to get into a career path that pulled in her transferable skills, but also stretched her into a new facet where she now has to be more front facing so she can build that confidence. And she's doing awesome, wonderful. She touched base with me to come back for coaching every now and then to really just make sure she's on that path to the next level that she wants to get to.
Beautiful. Don't you love those success stories?
Love, love, love them.
Oh my gosh. I have a lot too. And, but I work with adults, youth, and young children. So uh, now I'm into my third generation. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I having worked with grandparents, then I worked with parents when they were kids, and now they have kids and they're bringing their kids to me. So it's like three generations, really.
What a legacy. That's
I love it. Yeah, yeah. So I understand the joy that that brings to us. And when people say, I'm sure you've had this said to you, thank you so much for salvaging me or saving me, and I go, no, I didn't do that. You did the work.
You did the work.
You and we just show them how to do it, right? That's our role. Yeah.
And that's one thing about coaching that I love. It is built on the premise that you have the inherent ability to solve your own problems.
Right.
God has gifted all of us with that. Where we come in is to help you pull that out and to help you see different perspectives.
Right.
And we, in my coaching, working with leaders, we use a phrase called taking you out on the balcony.
Okay, I'm interested.
Imagine you're at a hotel and you go out on the balcony and you just look over, the scenery, and you can see so far out there. And that's what taking you on the balcony is, showing you that there are so many options and opportunities out there for you. But if you stay silo in the hotel room,
I love
right,
that.
you limit your perspectives, you limit your
Mhm.
opportunities. But just going on the balcony, you get to see, wow, there is so much more for me out there.
Mhm. Well, in relation to that, during COVID, some people still haven't come out of their houses.
True.
Isn't that true?
It is true.
Yeah.
And maybe not the physical house, but the mental house.
There you go. I love that.
Because so much happened during those COVID years that impacted us from a mental health perspective.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
some people are still trapped in that mental mindset of, this world is scary and I just don't want to come out there. Therapy was a godsend for a lot of people during that time period.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Mentally. I don't think we've even seen the peak of it yet, really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know how things are in the US, but I know here in Canada, our mental health care service providers are like maxed. And
We're mad.
to get in for help is like you're waiting. Um, yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and there's not enough therapists to help the amount of need
Hmm.
that is out there. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are suffering in silence
Hmm. Hmm.
because they don't want to admit it. There's still a lot of people who still see it as, taboo. But someone said to me recently that our healthcare system has embraced mental health in such a more health focused way that you don't even have to pay um, copay in some cases to see therapists, or all
Hmm.
you have to pay is copay.
Right,
So it's
right.
being embraced more. And I think when we deal with women so long have been taught to be the strong one of the family, to carry the burden. It's like, I liken it to us carrying a baby for 9 months. Why it had to be 9 months, Dr. Laurie, I don't know. It could have been 9 weeks, 9 days, 9 minutes. I would even take 9 seconds. But 9 months we had to carry a baby, which trains us in some sense to be able to carry heavy struggles. And if we don't, at some point in our lives, understand that even in pregnancy, there is a point where you have to let it go, you have to release it. And so, with working with women, try to get them to understand that there are things that you will never get to if you don't release your old mindset and embrace new opportunities, new experiences, and step out there. Build your confidence enough to try something, because failure doesn't mean you failed. Failure means you learned how not to do it
Not to do it. That would explain my 3 marriages.
Yes, yes.
And, yeah, and yesterday, my husband Ron and I just celebrated. We met late in life, but 32 years we've been married.
See,
But
see.
it's like a house, and I don't say this. I'm just being smug here, but
Mhm.
it's like building a house. You have to build 3 before you get the one you want.
Yes.
Yeah, but yes, obviously, I have after 3 marriages, I said, "Wow, like, how did that happen?" Well, poor communication skills, not recognizing my value, not knowing when I was being controlled or not,
Yes.
all those things that I had to learn.
Yes.
Right. And I'd like to think of you and I as alternative mental health care. That's what I get. People say, well, are you a psychologist or a therapist? I said, no, I chose that intentionally not to be that.
Yes.
But the work that we do is right smack, right, that's Canadian, right smack in the middle.
In the middle.
Right in the middle, right?
Yes.
Because people come to me who've maybe already been to therapy, or they need to go to therapy and I need to make a reference, but somewhere in there, when people come and actually do their personal work, their
Yes.
personal and professional development work, they soon discover that maybe they don't have to go to therapy and that they can, like you said earlier, solve their own problems.
And see, I love that because I explain to my potential clients and clients, therapy looks at your past, counseling focuses on your present problem. Coaches, we help move you into the future.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I've had clients that were plateaued and couldn't get over that hump to the next place, and then away they are. Right.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. I published my first book last year too.
Oh, wonderful. Now, what date did you put yours out?
Oh, let me think. It was in January of this year that they were actually, no, it wasn't. It was the fall. I can't remember, but I'll just flash it up. Mine's a working journal.
Yes.
21 days to happiness, joy, and inner peace.
Oh, I love that.
And it's 200 pages of work. It's like 21 days of work. You work in it every day for 21 days.
See, that's the pattern I use. I believe
Yeah.
in journey.
Yeah, the journey.
And the book actually is more like a study guide.
Yeah.
It takes them through the journey of, what is my purpose? Who is my purpose? Where is my purpose? How do I develop my purpose? And so it takes them through that journey. So it's not meant to just sit and read like a novel. It's meant to pull out your journal, pull out your notes and your pen and paper, and let's really do some inner work.
Yeah. Well, we have a whole series coming, 21 days to, well, I'll talk about it on Saturday more.
Okay, nice.
Book launch. But our second one was 21 days to building confident children. And then the third one, 21 days to responsible wellness.
Love it.
Yeah. So we have, but that's my years and years and decades of work too, like yourself. It's so incredible to be able to pull from your experiences.
Yes.
To support others. How do you feel about that credibility that we've done this and we've had that experience? And that's our credibility, really. Don't you think? What we've learned, what we know.
It's a credibility, but it's also a model to others that if I made it through this, you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
I have some scars to show, but they are reminders of me of the struggles I overcame. I recall just quickly for you, my husband and I were in a car accident many, many years when we first got married, and I got this scar on my leg. And every time I look at that scar, it reminds me that I made it out of that accident alive. And so our experiences, my experiences through corporate, through my my spiritual journey, all comes to the final say so around I overcame so that I can come and help somebody else. Hopefully not have to go through the same things I went through or go through them as long as I had to go through them. And so that's what I do with women, take them on that journey, my career journey, how I landed at the seat of an executive table, coming from a small, humble beginnings of the only daughter, the only child to go to college, the only child of my mother's to graduate from college, being a first generation in a lot of regards, that I can be that role model and example to women today. And you don't have to settle. There is more to you. You're not behind, you're just evolving. You don't have to compare yourself to others. You just need to get clarity on what it is you're supposed to be doing. And then I can help you walk through that journey.
That's amazing. Thank you for doing what you do,
Oh,
all that you are and all that you do, because the world is in big need of the Yvettes in the world, for sure. Yeah. And I love the pink. Tell me about the pink. I see the pink sign. Welcome to the good life. I love that. And a
I,
pink chair, and you're wearing a pink top. Is pink your favorite color?
pink is my favorite color. I don't even know how it evolved. I guess I'm just a pink girl. But I love fuchsia and I love black and white. So I kind of combine them together. But yeah, I'm a pink girl. I think it gives that rosy feeling, that bright feeling. It makes you feel like, you know, I'm feminine, but I'm still here.
Ah, yeah, exactly. And I don't name companies and brands, but I was the proud owner of a few pink Cadillacs.
Yes. Oh, you're giving me an idea.
Yes, that's yes. I was there for in that organization for 12 years, and
Yes.
that's what I did as in transitioning, and of course in that search for my own purpose as well. You know, why am I here? And I have a little questionnaire I give people. I ask them, why are you here? And my answer to that is to make a difference.
Yes.
What do you want? Well, I want to make a difference. And what are you willing to do to get what you want? Well, I'm willing to continue to making a difference.
Yeah.
So that if you ask yourself those three questions, it'll sort of help you with what are you doing here anyway? Are you
Yeah.
here to take up space or breathe more air or what?
Yeah. Very important questions.
Yeah, yeah. So our time is wrapping up. Now let me see. Is there anything else? How do we get your book? Just go to your. I'm running your website here.
Yes, you can go to Linktree. You can actually purchase it on Amazon, as well as I have um, a merch site where you can get some wonderful T-shirts,
Oh,
books.
nice.
You can join some of my coaching programs, group coaching. Lots of options for our wonderful women out there.
Beautiful. And if you're a woman and you're viewing today, and I see we have live viewers, we've got a nice little audience happening here live. So if you're watching the show right now and you want to put a comment up, we can banner that across. And any other comments? I believe we did have a couple of comments. I don't know who these people are, but maybe you do.
Oh
Pick
yeah,
TV
my
Network.
husband. That's my husband. He's representing
Okay. Oh,
TV.
your biggest fan. Your big.
Yes,
That's your boo.
that's my mom.
Oh, that's your mom. Oh, nice. Beautiful. Well, welcome to the show, everybody, and so happy to have you here. And yes, great information today. So please, everybody, we're streaming live right now on my Facebook page, Laurie Davis, Laurie Davis, and also on my YouTube channel. And to find that, just search Laurie Davis Show Host.
Yeah.
So Yvette, it has been my distinct pleasure to have you today. This has been fun because we're talking the same language, and that number 7, wow. Uh,
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
it means completion, being able to bring to full circle what you've been assigned to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, if we had an audience of 1,000 people out there right now, 1,000 women listening to you, and you had 2 or 3 minutes to leave them some words of encouragement, even if it renders repeating something you've said already, it doesn't matter. What would you share with them?
For the women listening now and later, I encourage you to take 3 key steps right now. Face your past. You can't move into your future until you're willing to face your past. 2, use your voice. We've been given a voice to speak up, so we must use it. And 3, trust the process. Clarity and strategy is developed when we step to the plate and be willing to trust the process. We don't have to be someone else. We were individually and uniquely made. And with a good strategy, you're able to build the confidence to advocate for yourself. And when a woman moves purposefully, she moves intentionally, and everything about her becomes meaningful.
Beautiful. You gave me chills. I got chills.
I'm so
Thank you.
passionate about this, Dr. Laurie, and I
Oh,
thank you so much for the opportunity to be here to pour into women. This is what I do. I just want women to know that their struggles aren't roadblocks. They're the pathway to it. And that's what my book is all about. God doesn't waste any gift that he puts in us, and greater is ahead of us.
thank you so much. That's so inspiring. My guest today, Coach E. Fun, fun, fun. All right. We have a beautiful event coming up on Saturday. I'm just going to take a moment to announce that. Once a month, the last.
What is this? It's kind of light. All my body starts to shiver. Worries will I'm on a high. Oh, I've never felt like this before. Got to let it go.
When you move abroad, there are some things you can't take with you. But there are some things you just can't leave behind. For international health insurance, choose Allianz Worldwide Care.